Greetings everyone and welcome to Coffee Black, where the Voyager adventures continue on YouTube. I'm your host, Captain G, and this is the channel where you get your refill of everything Star Trek Voyager related, from trivia, news, reviews, and more. So before I talk about today's topic, I'd like to encourage new viewers to subscribe to the channel, also check us out on X, formerly known as Twitter, and visit our Facebook page for more Voyager content. So today I'll be doing my breakdown of Season 2, Episode 3, Who Saves the Saviors? Computer Access File Episode 3, Alpha, and Magnify View Screen. So at the beginning of Episode 3, we see the Infinity going into the Temporal Rift with Dal, Jangum, Zero, and Magell aboard. They're unable to alter course and travel through the rift, which leaves them crashed on the surface of Solem 52 years into the future. The crew realize they entered the rift too soon, and the protostar is still on the planet, waiting to be liberated by Chakotay. Meanwhile, on Voyager, Janeway and the command crew try to determine who was communicating with them through the anomaly, and how the ship was launched, and who was on board. Rock and Murph enter the bridge, and Rock tries to explain to Janeway there was an accident, and she tells her that Dal and the others were the ones on the Infinity. Back at the crash site, Zero and Jangum attempt to repair the ship, while Magell and Dal debate about what they should do. Magell insists that they remain with the ship, but Dal wants to complete the mission and save Chakotay. Zero points out that they need to wait to rescue Chakotay until the protostar is sent back in time. Otherwise, there could be unforeseen consequences for altering time. Magell removes Dal's comm badge and states Starfleet temporal protocols, confirming that they need to hide all proof of who they are and where they come from. They remove their uniforms, and Magell even takes a piece of cloth and ties it around her head to hide her ears, a nod to how Spock disguised himself in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Shortly after, Jangum picks up life signs approaching them, and guards appear, and they surround the cadets. In the presence, Essentia demands that the Elders find Gwyn. When the Elders question Gwyn's worth since her supposed subterfuge was uncovered, Essentia claims Gwyn is out free and spreading lies amongst the people. Both Gwyn's father, Ilthron, and Gwyn arrive and interrupt Essentia, requesting that Gwyn be given the right to speak. The Elders permit it, and Gwyn continues to insist that she was telling the truth about the Federation's intentions and that her loyalty is to Solem. The Elders question how they could take the words of an outsider, and Ilthron reveals that she's his daughter. As proof, both their faces glow as they present their family heirloom. To prove herself to be a true Val-Nakat, Gwyn challenges Essentia to the ancient ritual of Val-Lu-Ra. The Elders agree, despite Essentia's misgivings. Back on Solem, the cadets are marched into a prison, and Jangum is especially frustrated because they removed his robotic prosthetic. The cadets enter the cell and see both Chakotay and his first officer, Indrik, there as well. They attempt to avoid them, but Chakotay insists on talking with them. Chakotay asks how they got there, and the cadets claim that they were traitors that the Val-Nara captured. Jangum touches the force field, hoping to find a way out, but the first officer insists there's no way out. Dal tries to encourage them to find a way out, making him look more suspicious. Chakotay chooses to trust the cadets and introduces himself and Commander Indrik. He also reveals that Indrik hid a tricorder that they were using to try to contact help. Jangum makes a pun saying, "Check out the beak on Indrik," something Indrik doesn't find amusing. Jangum can't help himself, though, and continues to make bird puns the entire time they're in the cell together. A few moments later, the cadets all huddle together and theorize that perhaps they are all in a causal time loop, and that they are the deciding factor for how Chakotay and Indrik escape. Magell compares the situation to other temporal time loops, like the Bell riots from Deep Space Nine and the Cochrane warp tests seen in Star Trek First Contact. Back in the present, the Elders take Gwyn and Essentia to a special place for the ritual. They both remove their heirlooms and leave them behind before stepping on the central platform. The platform lowers and takes them downward to perform the ritual combat. Gwyn notices the glowing specks in the air and theorizes that the location is the source of the Vat-Narak heirlooms. Essentia manipulates the specks to form a weapon similar to their heirlooms and attacks Gwyn. Gwyn dodges several attacks, and the two eventually end locked up in combat as the scene ends. Back on the future Solem, Jangum tinkers with the tricorder, and Chakotay asks that if Jangum is the engineer, what position does Dal hold with the crew? Dal tries to say he's the captain, but Majel corrects him and says he only wishes to be captain. Dal takes her aside and asks her why she bothered to correct him, and her response was Vulcans do not lie, a concept originally claimed in the original series by Spock. Jangum uses the tricorder to hack into his missing robotic prosthetic, and to the surprise of Andrique, uses the remote-controlled hand to reach the cell's computer terminal to create an opening in the force field. The gang runs out and fights their captors, and Majel performs a Vulcan nerve pinch, and Chakotay comments on it, but Dal laughs it off, pretending not to know what he's talking about, and said that it was clearly a chop hit that anyone could do. Back on present-day Solem, Gwyn and Essentia continue to fight. Essentia hurls several projectiles at Gwyn, and Gwyn redirects them into a statue. Gwyn says she doesn't have to fight Essentia to save Solem, and then proceeds to climb the shards in the statue upward in a race to make it back up to the surface. On future Solem, the cadets, Chakotay, and Andrique make their way to the protostar, but see that it is heavily guarded. Dal says that he and the others will distract the robots so Chakotay and Andrique can get to the ship. Majel uses her tricorder, which catches Chakotay's eye, and Dal clumsily pulls Chakotay away. The cadets hop on hoverbikes and begin shooting at the robot guards to get their attention. One of the robots fires back and hits the rifle out of Dal's hand. The cadets then venture off with the robots in pursuit, and Chakotay and Andrique race to the protostar. Once they're at a safer distance and lose the robots, Dal and the cadets watch from a distance, and everything appears to be happening just how it's meant to, until Chakotay picks up Dal's missing rifle and uses it to battle their way on board the protostar, instead of setting a manual destination. The cadets watch in shock as the ship takes off and heads into the rift, effectively altering time as they know it. Back on present-day Solem, Gwyn begins to struggle while climbing because her body begins to phase in and out of time, making it more difficult for her to hold on to anything and pull herself up. Essentia hurls projectiles at her, and they go right through her as she remains in a state of flux, falling all the way down to the bottom before being caught by a giant webbed heirloom. Essentia eventually climbs up to the top, recognized as the victor. Gwyn looks up in disappointment and confusion as the top of the structure closes, leaving her entombed inside. Essentia savors her victory and takes ownership of Gwyn's heirloom. And there you have it. Those are the Easter eggs and the complete breakdown of episode 3. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm a sucker for time travel anyway, so the fact that this season is so time travel heavy is a big plus for me. I enjoyed the story and the action. If there's anything I kind of felt like the show was missing, I'd probably say it'd be more scenes on the Voyager A, although I understand that a majority of the episode was meant to be focused on Solem both in the past and the present. Overall, as far as a ranking goes, I don't think I enjoyed this episode quite as much as I enjoyed the first two, although I did enjoy this episode, so I'm probably going to go ahead and give this one 7 cups of coffee out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like, and remember to subscribe for more Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Prodigy content. So be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think as well. And I will have a new breakdown of Easter eggs for episode 4 very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Take care. Live long and prosper.